Good evening, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines. In the right place at the right time, the toddler saved from choking to death by a passing community policeman.
Road wars, cyclists and drivers come to blows over who is putting lives at risk. Is it time riders wore IDs, something like a number plate?
And home delivery, the door-to-door library that's proving popular with readers.
Good evening. Now, would you know what to do if a child was choking? Well, one mother has told Meridian about the terrifying moment her child stopped breathing after he ate a piece of pasta.
Donna Sagier from Bournemouth and her neighbour both tried to help 17-month-old Samuel but couldn't. In total panic, Donna ran out into the street where a community support officer just happened to be walking by.
As Mel Blaw now reports, the family were so lucky he was there.
Enjoying precious mother and baby time today, Donna Sagier knows just how lucky she is after nearly losing her 17-month-old son Samuel when he choked on a piece of pasta at their home in Winton. Despite frantic attempts by Donna and her neighbour to dislodge the food, Samuel had stopped breathing.
He was sat in his high chair eating his pasta. He was hungover, foaming at the mouth. I was in the kitchen. His elder brother come up and said, "Mum, quick, Mum," and I just ran in, saw him foaming and going quite blue. It was awful experience. I just thought I'd lost him.
In a desperate panic, Donna ran out into the street, screaming for help. Luckily for her, PCSO Adam Cleaver was on patrol and walking up the road.
Donna came out of the house saying, "Do I know first aid and could I help her?" I said, "Yes, I do." She then said her son wasn't breathing, so I ran into the house. When I entered the front room, the neighbour had Samuel upside down and was banging him on the back, so I took control of the situation. Donna was on the phone to the ambulance. I banged him on the back a few times, laid him on the floor and started chest compressions until he started gurgling. Then I sat him up, wiped all the saliva away from his face and his nose. And then he started to cry and the colour started to return.
I'm sure Adam will tell me he was just doing his job, but to you I'm sure he's a hero.
Yeah, he is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my neighbour and Adam, both. I cannot thank them enough.
Samuel spent 4 days in hospital following the incident, but is thankfully on the mend now.
Love you. Oh, good boy.
Mel Blaw, ITV News, Winton.
A happy ending there, but if you want some advice about what to do if your child chokes or helpful hints on first aid for youngsters, then there's more on our website, itv.com/news/Meridian.
A man accused of murdering his partner and her daughter in Surrey told police at the time of his arrest that the two women were tormenting him. John Lowe, who's 82, is said to have made the comments after being taken into custody. The details were revealed as part of his trial today at Guildford Crown Court. The bodies of Christine and Lucy Lee, aged 66 and 40, were found along with 4 dogs at Mr Lowe's puppy farm at Tilford near Farnham. They had been shot. John Lowe denies double murder.
A man who admitted killing a homeless woman in Brighton has been jailed for 12 years. Timothy Smythe was convicted of manslaughter last November. He'd injected Faye Isaac with heroin before taking her purse and leaving her in a public toilet.
More drivers are killed on country roads than motorways, according to new figures. Last year, 165 drivers lost their lives on roads on the South East roads, and 82% of them were on country roads. The Department for Transport has begun a campaign to reduce fatalities. It's urging motorists not to overtake unnecessarily, look out for bends and hidden dips, and allow more time to stop on wet surfaces.
Really, one of the big messages is drive at a speed where you know you can stop in time, because you don't know what's round the bend, and that's often when accidents happen.
2 police officers have been punched, bitten and scratched by a man with HIV in Brighton. The attack happened on Norfolk Street when they stopped to help an ambulance crew. The officers are receiving medication to prevent them catching the virus.
Cyclists should wear some form of identity so that if they break the rules of the road, they can be easily prosecuted. Well, that's the view of Katie Bourne, who's the Police and Crime Commissioner for Sussex.
Well, her comments are unrealistic and ill thought through, say cycling campaigners, but many drivers and pedestrians have said it would make dealing with reckless and dangerous cyclists far easier. Andy Dickinson has our report.
Cyclists, pedestrians and cars may not always share space peacefully, but Sussex Police and Crime Commissioner Katie Bourne walked into her own storm this week when she appeared at a public meeting and was quizzed on the tricky subject of cyclists who flout the law.
I said at the meeting that I wanted to stick up for cyclists because I think they get a hard rap. I'm very pro-cycling. But what I did say was that I felt that cyclists should have some form of identification. Now, it's since transpired through social media and that lots of ideas have come forward, some of them very wacky, and the number plate idea wasn't mine, but it's been attributed to me.
Within days, she says her views were skewed as an endorsement of so-called bicycle number plates. But just how feasible would a bike identity scheme be? What possible form could it take?
That as an idea turns out to be quite impractical when you look at it in detail. Some other countries have looked at it and actually abandoned it, like Switzerland. In March 2010, they don't use number plates anymore. I know people get angry with cyclists who break the law on traffic, but cyclists actually do little harm, and 98% of pedestrians killed or seriously injured in urban areas are as a result of motor vehicles, not cyclists.
Perhaps the one thing all sides agree on is that safety is an issue, with Sussex Police reporting over 1,700 incidents involving cyclists over the last 3 years.
I don't think it would make a lot of difference actually. It's just another thing to police, more admin needed, someone's got to pay for it running the scheme, I don't see the point really.
I don't think it's a workable idea.
I think it's a two-way street. I think they need to make cycling more separate, and then we'll stick to that. But the difficulty is when you've got pedestrians walking into cycle lanes, then you go up on the curb and sort of run a red light, and in your mind they're sort of equal.
The debate at least rides on. Andy Dickinson, ITV News, Brighton.
Well, indeed, many of you commenting on this on our Facebook page. Ben Solomon says make them have insurance as well if they want to ride on the road.
Melissa Bianca Kennedy says she is disappointed with how anti-cyclist the UK has become. She says she is a driver and cyclist and sees bad examples of both all the time.
Andy Clark also thinks it is a good idea. He says they should also have insurance for when they injure people or damage vehicles through their own fault and not the drivers. It should work both ways.
Keith Morgan says, yes, I think we need something like this. I nearly killed a cyclist yesterday who thought red lights are not for him to adhere to. Then he kicked my car, he says.
Yeah, Karen Jackson's a cyclist. There are good and bad drivers and riders. I was riding in the road with a high-vis coat, helmet, lights on, and a driver pulled out of a side road on her phone with a child in the back, missing me by inches. This country is becoming very cycle unfriendly. Respect from both parties and respect for rules would help avoid dangerous situations. Thank you for all of your comments.
British Transport Police are looking for a man who threatened a ticket collector with a shovel at Lancing Railway Station in Sussex. They've released these CCTV images. The man became aggressive when a member of station staff asked to see his ticket.
New figures have revealed 2/3 of people who rent are unable to save anything towards a deposit for a home of their own. The charity Shelter says the problem is getting worse. In the south, the average rent is nearly £800, an increase of 3.4%.
Residents in Portsmouth are being asked for their views on how the council can save money. The authority needs to reduce its budget by £37 million over the next 3 years. Local people are invited to give their ideas at a meeting tonight at Springfield School in the city.
Well, of course, spending cuts in recent years have forced councils to think long and hard about how to maintain their library services.
In Brighton and Hove, a controversial decision was taken to scrap the mobile library and replace it with a home delivery service instead.
Well, now that's proving such a success, there are plans to expand it, as Malcolm Shaw will tell us.
At Brighton's Jubilee Library, Annie Cannon has come to choose her books, but she won't be reading any of them. Annie is a home delivery officer, collecting titles for borrowers who find it difficult to come into the library themselves.
People approach me by email or by phone, and then we have a chat about what kind of books they like to read, and that helps me to build up a profile.
It was in January last year that the council here reluctantly took the decision to scrap the mobile library which used to tour the city. Instead, they launched the home delivery service, targeting the readers most in need of help.
Morning, Peter.
Good morning, Annie.
People like Sir Peter Woodhead, the retired Vice Admiral, is an avid reader, but he's now a carer for his wife and sister-in-law, who both suffer dementia, and leaving the house is difficult.
It saves an awful lot of effort on my part and worry, because sometimes when carers come in, my wife's sister in particular doesn't take to them.
This personal library service has proved such a success that now there are plans to expand it by recruiting volunteers.
It's a really, really rewarding job for those people who love books and love to meet with people, often who are isolated.
Jackie Grossman has been a library user since she was a child, but ill health has made that impossible. She says Annie's visits are vital to her well-being.
People sometimes say about things, it changed my life, it changed my life. This really changed my life when I was very, very frightened and bereft.
The home delivery service marks a new chapter for libraries, but one, it seems, with a happy ending. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Brighton.
Lovely. One of our MPs has been knighted. Sir Nicholas Soames was honoured by the Queen at Buckingham Palace. The 70-year-old, who's Sir Winston Churchill's grandson, received his knighthood for services to politics.
The greatest honour of my life, really. I mean, to be knighted by the Queen is a great, great honour, and I'm amazed that I should have been recognised in such a way, and it's been absolutely wonderful day, wonderful.
Congratulations to him. A quick look ahead now to tomorrow night's programme, and on the 30th anniversary of the IRA's devastating attack on the Tory party conference in Brighton, we'll see inside the room where the bomb was planted.
Yes, we'll speak to Jo Berry, whose father was killed in the blast. She tells us why she decided to come face to face with Patrick McGee, the former terrorist who masterminded the explosion. And we shall find out how the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher of course, found time to thank her hairdresser for helping her through that awful assassination attempt.
That's tomorrow. A short show tonight. We're back to normal tomorrow. In just a moment, Simon's weather and more on those torrential downpours. He's followed by the national and international news.
For now, though, from the team here at ITV Meridian, thank you as always very much for watching. Have a very happy and peaceful evening, and join us again if you can tomorrow. Till then, from all of us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's us driving on, us driving off in France, and us on the bridge.
Driving to Europe. Eurotunnel Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Well, thanks for all of the pictures of the gorgeous full moon of last night, and tonight it will be shining brightly in the night sky again, because there's going to be barely a cloud in the sky. Any showers will fizzle away this evening, leaving us largely dry but pretty chilly. Temperatures down into single figures in some rural spots. And tomorrow morning, a decent start, some good bright or sunny spells to get us going. Mostly dry, but then through the day we'll see yet more showers develop from the southwest. And yes, again, they could well be heavy, with some hail and thunder thrown in, just like today. Except unlike today, they'll be a bit well scattered, and that means more in the way of dry and bright spells. Temperatures eventually up to around 15-16 degrees, though still a little blowy. High tide times tomorrow you can see in Portland, 8:45 in the morning, 9:10 in the evening.